What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Sometimes on Sunday afternoons, you just kind of want to chillax it out. You want to grind it out and get yourself some crafting materials. However, you don't want to stay real active. So with that in mind, here is another Sunday chill build for you to check out. Now, today we are going to be taking advantage of the Nether Archer from the Mercenary. One thing about the Nether Archer is it is kind of the epitome of a little goes a long way, as Nether Archers are an absolute powerhouse. They bounce around between enemies and are just good stuff. Now, first things first, let's go ahead and get some walls set up. For that, we're going to be using the lovely Werewolf Commander. Do something like that, and that. And we already got one there. We better throw something right about here. We're going to need some reflect beams on those werewolves, of course. Something along those lines. And then let's see what we have left for Nether Archers. Now, I chose this map because unless you just turtle it down to 3 lanes, the DU is not super cooperative on this one. You've got just basically a flat 200 per lane, plus you have to deal with the flyers. So you want it to, use defenses that are going to handle the ground lanes or the flying enemies. And the Nether Archers are just that. Now, you don't need Piercer Servo on Nether Archers. Their projectiles will pierce, something to do with the arrows bouncing. So no Piercer Servo required, so you can go with the good old faithful defense rate, anti-melee, and anti-chaos. I'm using mass destruction and destruction. You can use any third shard you want. I am opting to go with ghost arrows to get a few additional bounces. Now, these bounces have a crazy good range. They do go all over the place. Let's just use 2 Nether Archers to clear this whole area. So both of those lanes, only 2 Nether Archers. Yeah, I mean, just good stuff. Let's go ahead and give it all the usual treatment. We'll get Destructive Pylon. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to afford a buff beam at every area, but I've got that side of the map choked off. Let's go ahead and go 2 Nether Archers right here, and we'll go 2 Nether Archers right here. And then, yeah, not quite enough to go with buff beams, but I can get Destructive Pylon and boost our in on each one of these defenses. Go something like that, and like that. And there we go. All 800 DU is used. Let's see. Since these are our weakest lanes, let's go with a few upgrades there, and then just see how it runs. Now, remember, the objective here is to just be able to chillax. Now, with that in mind, I don't have anything in specifically to deal with Siege Rollers or to deal with Draken Lords. So if we get Siege Rollers or Draken Lords, we are going to have to jump in and help out, contribute a little bit. But you can see the power of these bounces from the Nether Archers. You don't see it a whole lot right now, but once some more mobs come in, or there you go, you've got arrows bouncing from here all the way to enemies over here. So just good stuff on those arrow bounces from the Nether Archers, and it's able to just clear an impressive amount of area because you've got a defense that, at heart is a heavy-hitting single target defense. However, the arrows are bouncing around all over the place. It's a very small projectile, so you do have to watch for it. It's not going to be super obvious. You can see the little purple trailers through the air, but yeah, man, these things just bounce all over. Makes it so you can do something like this. Just 2 Nether Archers completely clearing this whole section and still getting the job done without any problems. We saw a dive bomber there that went after the werewolf. No problem there at all. So pretty smooth sailing on this one so far. Let's give it a round of upgrades and see how we do. Now, of course, you can opt to, assuming your setup is complete, you can probably get away with no upgrades at all. However, I'm going to throw some in just because I do want to do the full-on AFK and chill here for our Sunday chiller this week. And these two little nether archers, man, I tell you, they are just putting in some work. Arrows bouncing all over the place. Crazy the bounce range on those. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, they are just going everywhere. It's a real good view of it when we get that chieftain on the wall here and the enemies are still out there. Because that is such a huge bounce to be able to go all the way up there. But yeah, it's just pegging everything. Just those two nether archers and literally every mob is getting tagged. Really long before it even gets to the walls. See, chieftains are having to throw up their buff way up the lane, which is a good thing. Oh, we got our weekly quest completed finally. I love a good weekly that completes on its own without looking on it. Yeah, just really, really doing solid. Let's switch over as we get into the boss lanes, get us a little bit of a little more powerful DPS going here. And let's just let it fly. I'm not going to give it any more upgrades, you know, although I think it would really shine if it was all upgraded to max. I think we're going to be able to clear this one out super, super quick with little to no contribution. Like I said, you will have to deal with Dragon Lords and Siege Rollers. I'm actually curious on Siege Rollers. Now, it would take a whole ungodly amount of RNG, but like if a Nether Archer shot at an enemy and then it came back and hit a Siege Roller on the sweet spot, it would make you think that it would handle the Siege Roller lanes. But of course, like I said, that just require absolute tremendous amount of RNG. You see the ogre just getting tapped. Of course, those arrows bounce, so even though they're zoned in on that ogre burning him down, the arrows are still bouncing and clearing the lane behind them. So absolutely incredible defense. In fact, the Mercenary is probably one of, if not one of the strongest overall heroes in the game. Has some incredibly powerful defenses to use while also being a completely busted OP DPS hero. So you get really the best of all the worlds with the Mercenary, no doubt. It's a tough call with the Mercenary. You know, for years and years and years, it has always been the generally accepted thing that you always unlock the EV first. And I think that's still pretty fair to do right now. Oh, here I said I wasn't going to upgrade anymore. However, I think the Mercenary is a close second. You can just really make things happen with the Mercenary. Is Elvish Artillery, and then these Nether Archers are just absolutely incredible. I personally am a bigger fan of the Nether Archers than the Elvish Artillery, because they just get the job done. I mean, they just absolutely shred. Good stuff. The chieftain are having to pop their bubbles or their immunity way up the lane, and that's just a huge benefit, because then you don't have to cycle through that whole thing with the werewolf. But you don't get the problem that you would have with a lot of other single target projectile type defenses, and that is with everything zoning in on like the chieftain. The arrows are still bouncing, so the arrows are passing through to other enemies, and it's no big deal when the chieftain pops their buff and demands the focus of all the towers, because the arrows are still going to continue to bounce and clear everything out. And of course, it's smart bouncing. So it's, you know, they are going and hitting targets. It's not just bouncing off in a random direction. Definitely super smooth running for the old Sunday chiller here. Malthius is going to take a minute to get down within range, but as soon as he does, it is going to be over for that guy. Actually, maybe we'll get some bounces. Yeah, looks like we actually did get a few bounces. Coming into range now. That Frost Strike aura, of course, is slowing things up a little. There we go. Mouthy is down. Let's just go ahead and G it up. Won't spam out any more upgrades. And just let it fly. Now remember, if you don't have all 10 out of 10 gear, as long as you have the proper shards, you're still going to be able to do this build. You might just have to contribute a little bit on some of the healthier enemies. So same exact build will still apply, but your AFK factor is what will change. Chieftain getting hammered on. Good stuff. Holy crap, look at the bounces here. You can see them really ping-ponging around there. It's nice. It goes around corners. You know, the bounce is a line of sight from where it's bouncing from. So, you know, it will hit flyers and bounce down to ground targets. It will go around corners. Just good stuff. Absolutely love those things. And here we got a siege roller. Let's just let the siege roller come down the lane a minute before we intervene and just kind of see what happens with it. I'm pretty sure, like I said, it would take an absolutely incredible amount of RNG to have a bounce hit an enemy, then go back to a siege roller. Yeah, the siege roller's just not taking any damage. So yeah, it just would take, you know, silly amounts of RNG on that one. Yeah, it hasn't taken any damage, so let's just go ahead and burn it down. So definitely not siege roller friendly. Of course, you could make it siege roller friendly if you want by adding in some other defenses. You could remove... what could you remove? Well, you could wait and not place anything until you got a siege roller, but then you could remove, like, the buff beam from here and maybe even combine these two lanes into one. Like have those nether archers down here pointed up this way, which is still going to clear out that lane. And then that would give you enough to throw down like a gargoyle up in the lane somewhere. Of course, the gargoyle is going to automate the siege roller and the Draken Lord if you get those into the mix. But there we go, another Sunday chill build. This one courtesy of the nether archers, which are just incredibly powerful. I think a lot of people already are aware. Nether archers are very, very commonly used defense, no doubt, as they are just super strong. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.